Welcome to our deep dive into Sangsin Korea.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, you sent us their website,
Mhm.
and from what we can tell, they're all about making marketing content for businesses.
Yeah.
But the catch is their whole site's in Korean, so
Yeah.
we've got a little bit of a challenge ahead of us
Right.
trying to decipher what we can about their work and their philosophy, even though
Right.
we don't speak the language fluently.
Yeah. Well, I think what's fascinating is like that in itself
Yeah.
is sort of a microcosm of their approach to content.
Oh, interesting.
It's all about like conveying a message clearly and effectively, even across a language barrier.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're the one who submitted this site. So what was it that initially sparked your interest in Sangsin Korea?
Well, I'm really fascinated by, how a Korean company tackles content marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any cultural nuances at play?
Yeah.
Do their strategies differ, from maybe Western approaches?
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that, through this deep dives, we can kind of tease out some of those answers.
I love that little cross-cultural marketing exploration.
Exactly.
So right off the bat, they identify themselves as ILHU, which translates to Professional Content Creation Company. So
Okay.
pretty straightforward and to the point.
Yeah. And then looking at their service offerings, they definitely reinforce that.
Okay.
They cover everything from product photography and detailed page design to GIF motion graphics and even like short form videos
Oh,
for
gee.
social media.
Yeah.
So they really seem to be equipped to handle a wide range of content needs.
That's interesting. And they also have this phrase that they repeat a lot, boyoya, ahu, which
Uh-huh.
means growing together with customers.
Yeah.
It sounds almost like a partnership.
Oh, that's a really interesting observation.
Yeah,
Yeah, instead of it being just a purely transactional approach,
right.
it's like they're emphasizing, this long-term commitment to their client's success.
Yeah.
And that suggests a belief that like their success as a content creation company is like intrinsically tied to the growth of the client.
Yeah, that's a powerful message to send to potential clients,
Absolutely.
especially in a competitive market.
Yeah, it really builds trust
Hmm.
and suggests that they're invested in something more than just like a quick turnaround.
Right. And speaking of competition,
Yeah.
they seem to really focus a lot on competitor analysis.
Uh,
They even use the phrase "seoi kamper," which means
wow.
marketing is a war.
That's quite a statement.
It is.
It definitely suggests they're taking a very strategic, almost combative approach
Yeah.
to content creation. They're not just like creating content just for the sake of it.
Right.
They're looking to actively outmaneuver the rivals.
Do you think that kind of aggressive language would be a turnoff to certain potential clients, or is it
That's a really good question.
more like, yeah, we're here to get results?
Yeah, I think it really depends on the audience.
Yeah.
Some people might really appreciate that assertive approach.
Yeah.
See it as a sign of confidence and dedication.
Right.
Whereas others might find it a little bit abrasive.
Yeah.
But it's a good reminder that like cultural context plays a huge role
Of course.
in how messages are interpreted.
So even within Korea, they might need to tailor
Absolutely.
their message based on who their target is.
Precisely understanding those nuances is really key to effective communication,
Uh-huh.
especially in a field as nuanced as marketing.
They also talk a lot about the importance of understanding the customer, and there's a line that really stood out to me.
Okay.
No, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Which basically means we need to know what the customer wants to keep them engaged with our content longer.
Yeah. I mean, that seems like a pretty fundamental principle of good marketing,
Uh-huh.
but it's interesting to see how explicitly they state that. It suggests that they might have like specific methods or frameworks
Right.
for gathering those customer insights
Yeah.
and then like translating them into actual content strategies.
Yeah, it makes me wonder, like, what tools are they using?
Yeah.
Are they doing any sort of like sentiment analysis of, social media data or
Right.
looking at certain website analytics?
Yeah, I mean, certainly there's a wealth of data available these days to
Yeah.
marketers. And it's really fascinating to consider how they might be like leveraging that data
Yeah.
to truly understand customer behavior and preferences.
And how they connect that data back to the content creation process.
Exactly.
It's one thing to know what people want,
Right.
but how do you actually create the content that satisfies that desire?
Absolutely. That's where the real skill lies.
Right.
And they do mention this idea of like analyzing competitor data to understand their unique selling propositions or USPs. They're looking at sales figures, customer reviews,
Yeah.
And even just subtle details in like how they structure their websites
Oh, wow.
or use certain keywords. So
So they're not just looking at what their clients are doing.
makes
They're looking at the whole picture.
the bigger picture. Yeah.
Yeah.
And by understanding those dynamics, they can really craft content that stands out
Mm-hmm.
and captures the attention of the target audience.
It seems like a very data-driven approach to content creation.
Yeah.
Would you say that that's becoming the norm in the industry?
It's definitely becoming increasingly important,
Right.
with the rise of digital marketing and this abundance of data.
Right.
You can no longer rely solely on intuition or guesswork.
Right.
You need to be able to like back up your creative decisions with solid data and insights.
And this kind of makes me think about how they emphasize the importance of mobile optimization.
Yeah.
They even use the phrase "Asian tro," meaning increased sales in your hand.
Wow. That's a powerful statement.
Yes.
It really speaks to that understanding that mobile devices are now the primary way
Right.
that people access the internet and consume content.
And they don't just talk about making websites responsive, they actually get into the specifics of it, like whole oranges 유선이 매력이 전선, which translates to capacity optimization, scroll optimization, and mobile design optimization.
That level of detail really suggests that they're thinking deeply about the user experience on mobile devices.
Yeah.
It's not just about like shrinking down a desktop website.
Right.
It's about creating content that's like specifically designed
Yeah.
to be engaging and effective on a smaller screen.
That's smart considering how much of our lives are now lived through our phones.
Absolutely. In many ways, mobile optimization is no longer just like a nice to have.
Right.
It's essential
Yeah.
for any business that wants to succeed in the digital age.
Now, they also mention working with over 1,000 brands and encourage visitors to check out their client testimonials. So it seems like they're building quite a solid reputation for themselves.
Yeah, that's a really clever use of social proof.
Yeah.
Potential clients can see that they have a proven track record of success
Right.
with a wide range of businesses, which definitely adds a layer of credibility to their claims.
And for anyone who's ready to reach out, they have a contact us section where they promise to respond within 12, UK meaning within a maximum of 12 hours.
Wow. Talk about responsiveness.
I know.
That's impressive, especially considering we're dealing with a potential language barrier here.
Right.
It really speaks to their dedication to client service.
Yeah.
And their understanding of the importance of timely communication.
So even though we've only scratched the surface of their website, we're starting to get a sense of their approach. It seems like they're combining creativity with a very data-driven strategic mindset.
Exactly. And their emphasis on customer understanding, competitor analysis, and mobile optimization suggests that they're really attuned to the nuances of this modern marketing landscape.
Now let's try and delve a little bit deeper into some of the specifics. Their website's filled with these little details and phrases that are quite intriguing, even if we don't fully understand the Korean.
Yeah. I'm ready for some linguistic detective work.
Okay, let's see what we can uncover.
So one phrase that I saw repeated a few times is Aya ko AEOEU, which means we create high-quality content for you.
Okay.
So it's almost like their mantra.
Yeah, it definitely emphasizes their commitment to quality, but what does high quality actually mean in this context?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Is it the aesthetics? Is it the technical execution? Or is there something more to it?
Yeah, I think that's where we have to like dig a little deeper.
Okay.
And if you look at the way they break down their services, it seems like they define quality in a bunch of different ways.
Okay.
For example, in their product photography section, they emphasize the importance of like capturing the product's essence and highlighting its unique selling points.
They even say, ha, you, ya not, ya, meaning a well-taken photograph determines the brand value.
Wow. Yeah, that's a bold claim.
It is.
But it really speaks to like the power of visuals in shaping brand perception.
Yeah.
In a crowded marketplace, like a striking product photo can really be the difference between grabbing someone's attention and getting lost in the scroll.
So it's not just about the technical skill.
Exactly.
It's about understanding how that visual can convey that brand message and evoke a certain emotion.
Exactly. And they also talk about detailed page design, and they really seem to focus on creating product pages that convert visitors into buyers. And one phrase they use is, "Yitsani." which means persuasion through storytelling.
So they're not just like presenting the information. They're
Right.
trying to craft a narrative
Yeah.
that engages the customer.
Yeah, it's about going beyond, just the basic features and benefits.
Right.
And creating a story that, resonates with the customer's desires and aspirations.
Okay, so for example,
Mhm.
instead of just listing the tech specs of a new smartphone,
Right.
you create content that shows how this phone is going to allow you to connect with your loved ones or
Exactly.
capture memories better or be more creative.
Yeah. It makes me think of those Apple commercials,
Uh-huh.
where they focus so much on, the emotional impact
Right.
of their products
Hmm.
rather than just the technical capability.
It's not about just buying the product, it's buying into the story.
Exactly. It's about understanding that consumers don't just buy products, they buy into the stories
Uh-huh.
that those products represent.
And Sangsin Korea seems to be applying that approach to all different formats.
Yeah.
They talk about homepage design and they see the homepage as the zun
Right.
or the first impression a company makes online.
Yeah, the homepage is like a digital storefront.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
It needs to be visually appealing, easy to navigate,
Right.
and it needs to quickly convey the brand's core message and values. And it's interesting that they use this phrase, "Hugawayham,"
Uh-huh.
which means building brand identity.
So it's not just about like having a pretty website.
Exactly.
It's about how are you using that homepage
Right.
to establish your brand and your personality.
Exactly. And they even extend this to their GIF motion graphics design.
Okay.
They actually call GIF Kage, Hugge Oko,
Oh, wow.
which means content that is the #1 contributor to dwell time.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's a very playful way of acknowledging the power of a GIF.
GIFs are so effective at
Mm.
adding a little bit of personality and humor to content.
Yeah.
They can also be used to demonstrate products features
Uh-huh.
or functionality in a really concise and engaging way.
And speaking of concise and engaging,
Yeah.
they also offer short-form design,
Right.
recognizing the rising popularity of platforms like TikTok and Instagram Reels.
That's a smart move.
Yeah.
Short form video is exploding in popularity,
It is.
especially among younger audiences.
Yeah.
And it's a format that really demands creativity
Uh-huh.
and the ability to tell a story in a very limited time frame.
And Sangsin Korea seems to be embracing that challenge.
Yeah, they actually use the phrase "ha,"
Mhm.
meaning short but powerful,
Yeah.
to describe their approach.
It really emphasizes that effective content doesn't always have to be super long or elaborate.
Exactly.
Sometimes it can be short and impactful.
It's all about adapting to the platform
Right.
and the audience's expectations.
Right. And that adaptability is evident in their overall approach to content creation.
Yeah.
They're always looking for new ways to innovate and stay ahead of the curve, whether it's through new technologies,
Right.
different creative formats, or using data insights.
Exactly.
And, we keep coming back to this phrase.
Yeah.
Marketing is a war.
It's a strong analogy.
It is.
But I think it reflects their understanding that the digital landscape
Yeah.
is incredibly competitive.
Yeah.
They're not just creating content.
Right.
They're strategizing,
Yeah.
they're analyzing,
Yeah.
they're looking for ways to outmaneuver their rivals.
And they seem to have the numbers to back it up.
Yeah.
They highlight their Hallyeol, meaning cumulative number of projects, which is over 3,800.
Wow, that's impressive.
It is.
It speaks to their experience and their ability to deliver results.
Yeah, it shows they've worked with a lot of different clients in a bunch of different industries.
Across various industries.
Yeah.
Gives them a really broad perspective
Right.
on what works and what doesn't.
And there's Sonyu Thusan, meaning work satisfaction averages 98%.
Wow, that's incredible.
That's pretty high.
Those are really high satisfaction rates.
Yeah.
Which definitely speaks volumes about the quality of their work.
Yeah, and a key part of that success seems to be their focus on Hallyeol or mobile optimization.
And again, they get very specific with it.
Yeah.
Hako and Yolin and
Yeah.
yo. They're clearly not just paying lip service to mobile optimization.
Right.
They're thinking very deeply
Yeah.
about how to create content that is fast loading, easy to navigate,
Right.
and visually appealing on a smaller screen.
It makes me wonder, do they have a special in-house team
Yeah,
that just focuses on this, or are there specific tools that they're using?
it's a good question. Maybe they have a team of developers that specialize in mobile-first design.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're leveraging certain content management systems or analytics platforms that help them optimize
Yeah.
for mobile performance.
It would be interesting to learn more about like their technical approach to
Absolutely.
content creation.
Yeah, the technology behind the scenes is just as important as the creative vision.
For sure. They also highlight their work with over 1,000 brands and encourage people to check out their Stamper, which are basically work reviews or testimonials.
Yeah, that's smart. In today's digital world, social proof is so important.
Right.
Potential clients want to see evidence that a company can deliver on its promises.
And Sangsin Korea seems very confident to showcase that on their website.
It suggests transparency and a willingness to let their work speak for itself.
And for those who are ready to connect, they have a Contact Us section, and they say they'll respond within 12U, meaning within a maximum of 12 hours.
That's a really impressive turnaround time.
It is.
Especially considering that language barrier.
Right.
It really speaks to their commitment to client service.
Yeah.
And, understanding that quick communication is key.
So even though we're navigating this website through translations and inferences, we're starting to build a very detailed picture out of Sangsin Korea's approach.
It's like piecing together a puzzle.
Yeah.
We're finding these little clues in their language, their visuals.
Yeah.
The emphasis on certain concepts.
And what we're getting is this picture of a company that's combining that creative flair with strategic thinking, data-driven decision-making, and a really deep understanding of the modern consumer.
They seem to be striking a balance between artistry and analytics, which is so crucial for success in today's really complex marketing landscape.
So I think now it's time to zoom out a little bit and look at the bigger picture. How does Sangsin Korea's approach reflect evolving trends in content marketing?
That's a great quote.
Especially in the context of Korean culture and the global marketplace.
It's clear that they're operating in this rapidly evolving digital landscape where content is king.
Yeah, and they're embracing it.
Absolutely.
And they're constantly refining their strategies to stay ahead of the curve.
But we should also consider the cultural context here. I mean, Korea is a nation that's known for its technological innovation. And it has a very highly connected, tech-savvy population.
So it makes sense that a Korean company would be at the forefront of digital marketing trends.
Absolutely. Especially when it comes to things like mobile optimization and creating content that resonates with that digitally native audience.
Their focus on storytelling and emotional connection could also be influenced by Korean cultural values that emphasize relationships and harmony and emotional expression.
It makes you wonder how their approach might differ from, say, a content marketing agency in a different part of the world.
Yeah, are there certain universal principles that transcend cultural boundaries?
That's a fascinating question.
Yeah.
While there are certainly universal principles of good storytelling and effective marketing, the way that those principles are expressed and executed can vary widely depending on the cultural context.
So something that might be a successful campaign in Korea might not resonate as well
in the Western
market.
And vice versa. Things like humor tone, visual aesthetics, and even the types of stories that are considered compelling can differ quite a bit.
It makes me realize how much we can learn from studying marketing strategies from around the world.
Absolutely.
It really broadens our perspective.
It does.
And helps us understand the nuances of global communication.
It's a reminder that there's always more to learn. And that cross-cultural understanding is so essential in today's interconnected world.
So as we delve deeper into Sangsin Korea's approach, let's consider some of the potential challenges and opportunities that they might face navigating this very complex landscape.
So one challenge that I think they might face is this increasing saturation of the content marketing space. I mean, with so many companies creating content these days.
Yeah. How do you stand out?
How do you ensure that your work actually stands out and captures the attention of your target audience?
So this is where their data-driven approach and focus on competitor analysis is going to help them out.
By understanding market trends, which makes the competitive landscape and the preferences of their target audience, they can really create content that's strategically positioned to cut through the noise.
But it's not just about the data. They also need to innovate and push creative boundaries.
Absolutely. And that requires a culture of experimentation, a willingness to take risks, and a deep understanding of emerging technologies and platforms.
And I think they also have to be very mindful
Right.
of the ethical considerations that come with data-driven marketing.
That's a crucial point.
Yeah,
As companies gather more data about their customers,
right.
it's so important to use that data responsibly and transparently.
Yeah.
Consumers are becoming increasingly aware of data privacy,
Of course.
and they're demanding more control over how their information is being used.
So Sangsin Korea is going to have to navigate that very carefully.
Absolutely. Trust is essential in any relationship, especially in the digital age.
So as we wrap up this section of our deep dive,
Okay.
I want to kind of shift our focus to Sangsin Korea's unique value proposition.
Okay.
What are they doing that sets them apart from other content marketing agencies?
Well, one key differentiator seems to be their deep understanding of the Korean market and their ability to create content that resonates with Korean consumers.
Okay.
You know, they seem to have a finger on the pulse of cultural trends,
Right.
consumer preferences, and just the nuances of that Korean digital landscape.
They also seem to be very client-focused,
Yeah.
emphasizing that relationship building
Right.
and growing together with customers.
Oh, yeah. That's a powerful message.
It is.
And it suggests that they're not just looking for those quick wins.
Right.
They're really invested in the long-term success of their clients.
And their data-driven approach, combined with that creative flair,
Yeah.
allows them to develop strategies that are both effective and engaging.
It's a winning combination.
Yeah.
They're not just like throwing content at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Right.
They're using data and insights to inform their creative decisions
Yep.
and ensure that their content is reaching the right audience at the right time.
So what can we, as people listening to this,
Right.
learn from Sangsin Korea's approach?
Yeah.
What are some insights we can apply to our own content marketing efforts?
Yeah. I think one key takeaway is the importance of understanding your audience.
Yeah.
You know, who are you trying to reach?
Right.
What are their needs, their desires, their pain points?
Yeah.
And once you have a deep understanding of that, you can really start creating content that speaks directly to them.
Right.
Another key takeaway, I think, is the power of data.
Mm-hmm.
You know, data can provide such valuable insights into your audience's behavior,
Right.
your competitor strategies, and just like the overall performance of your content.
Right. Using data to make better decisions.
Exactly. And by using data to inform your decisions, you can create content that's more likely to resonate and engage
Right.
and ultimately achieve your desired results.
And lastly, I think it's just important to remember that content marketing is an ongoing process. This digital landscape is constantly evolving.
Absolutely.
So you have to be willing to adapt and experiment
Right.
to stay ahead of the curve.
And Sangsin Korea seems to be embracing that challenge.
Yeah.
And their success is a testament to, the power of data-driven creativity, customer focus, and a commitment to continuous innovation.
All right, so we're going to move on to the final part of our deep dive,
Okay.
where we'll explore some takeaways for our listener
Sounds good.
and leave them with some questions to ponder.
I'm ready to wrap things up and leave our listener with some food for thought.
So we've learned a lot about Sangsin Korea,
We have.
their data-driven approach, the emphasis on mobile optimization.
Right.
But I think as we wrap up this deep dive, let's kind of bring it back to the listener. What are the key takeaways here?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest takeaways,
Yeah.
even if you're not operating in Korea, is that understanding of your audience.
Yeah.
Sangsin Korea's success really hinges on them knowing what Korean consumers want, what they respond to.
Yeah.
But you can apply that same principle to your own market,
Right.
whether it's a specific niche or even like a global audience.
It's like that old saying,
Yeah.
if you're talking to everyone, you're talking to no one.
Exactly.
And Sangsin Korea seems to have a very clear idea of who their audience is.
And that focus is evident in their work.
Yeah. So while we can't all be experts in every culture,
Right.
I think the lesson here is to do your research test and refine your understanding of your target market.
Yeah, you got to ask yourself those questions.
Yeah.
What are their values? What are their pain points?
Right.
What kind of content are they going to find engaging?
And I think it's interesting how Sangsin Korea's website's entirely in Korean,
Mm-hmm.
but their actions speak a universal language,
Right.
the language of effective marketing.
And that language is all about, delivering the right message to the right people at the right time, using the right channels and formats.
And they even recognize those subtle differences between platforms.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just about repurposing the same content everywhere.
Right.
It's about adapting it for each specific context.
Absolutely. What works on Instagram
Right.
might not work on a company website
Exactly.
or, in a detailed product brochure.
Yeah.
I mean, each platform has its own unique culture and expectations.
Right.
And your content needs to reflect that.
It's almost like they're creating different dialects of the same message.
Yeah, love that analogy.
Yeah, and it's fascinating to see how they're tailoring their approach to resonate with all these different audiences.
Yeah, across these diverse digital spaces.
Yeah. This also brings us back to that importance of data.
Yeah.
You know, Sangsin Korea's emphasis on competitor analysis and understanding customer preferences really shows that they're not just relying on intuition or creative inspiration.
They're backing up their decisions with solid data.
Yeah, they're using that data to understand what's working, what's not working, and how they can improve their strategies.
And that data-driven approach is something that anyone can adopt, regardless of their industry or their budget.
Right.
There are so many tools and resources available today that can help you gather insights about your audience, track your content's performance, and ultimately make more informed decisions.
So Sangsin Korea's website, in a way, is like a microcosm of their whole philosophy, clear communication, strategic thinking, and just a commitment to delivering results.
And even though we're looking at it through this language barrier, those core values really do shine through.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that good marketing can transcend language and cultural differences.
Yeah, at its core, it's about connecting with people on a human level. Understanding their needs and their desires, and delivering value through compelling content.
As we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to look beyond your usual sources of inspiration. You know, Sangsin Korea's approach might be rooted in Korean culture, but there are valuable lessons there for marketers anyway.
It's a good reminder that innovation can come from anywhere.
Yeah.
Sometimes those most valuable insights come from exploring perspectives that are different from our own.
So keep your eyes open, stay curious, and never stop learning.
That's great advice.
Yeah, who knows what other hidden gems are out there just waiting to be discovered.
Well, hey, thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun exploring the world of Sangsin Korea with you. Until next time.